Welcome back to another video here on the Bannock Industries YouTube channel. Now today we are working on our 2000 Ford Ranger rock crawler project. Now what we got going on today, I'll show you guys here. So we have the stock front suspension. It's all still in this truck. So what we got to do is we got to strip all this out and prep it so we can kind of get our new Super Duty axle in place. If you didn't see the last video, we actually swapped out the rear axle for the Super Duty 8-bolt, but today we're working on the front. So what I gotta do, or what I'm going to do anyways, we'll just put that back into place. You know, I don't want things wrecked around here. But kind of was doing some looking. We you know, I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna put the 43-inch tall tire on this thing. Right now, if we had a 43 with the same center line, the tire would actually come to here. That's no good. So I was also looking, we have this front cross support that you can see our steering runs through. That's this guy right here. So what I kind of was thinking of doing is, because we want to move the rear axle ahead a little bit, we might as well move the front axle up. So I'm thinking of actually mounting our axle right in front of here. So we'll see how that works out and everything, but just because I want to leave that front cross member. If we have to cut it out, I have to cut it out, but I'm gonna try and mount our new axle in front, and that just gives us lots of real estate for our engine, everything else that we got to do, and it'll just help for clearancing. But yeah, so we're gonna have to take our fenders off, or we don't have to, but it's gonna help us. So I'm gonna go ahead and get our fenders taken off. I'll kind of show you guys what it is to take those off a little bit, and then we'll get ripping and tearing and pull this front end apart. So super simple to get these fenders off. You have 3 bolts up here, 1, 2, 3. Then you have one that you have to access from the inside. It's right there. And then you have one right down here in the pinch. But that's all that holds on that fender. So really easy to actually get out and off. Just looking at it here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut most of this off now, because we're not gonna need it. We're gonna leave our hood stop here, but probably start here and then just cut that and then go at an angle, get rid of most of this, as we won't be needing it anymore. So that still needs to be done. Of course, there's glass everywhere from knocking out the windshield. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. We actually put an axe through our windshield. But so I still got this side to do. I did take the tires and wheels off just to help give us some room, but yeah, we'll keep going. Well, there we go. So I wasn't actually planning on cutting that front piece out, but looking at it, I did leave one hole here for the fender to sit on. That'll be good, because we'll be able to mount that, and when we build our cage work and everything, we'll have some kind of a guidance on where that's going to run. Now eventually this is all going to get cut off, kind of flush with the cab. We're going to end up having to leave that, but lots of this will get cut out. Now, hard thing, this side is actually different than this side on just the supports. So looking at it, it's really hard to see what you're trying to do. Now luckily our door jambs and everything, those are the same, so when I go to actually cut this out and run our tube work through it, you know, we'll be able to use the same spots on the cab. Because no, never mind, scratch that, because those are different as well. But we do know that up here is somewhat close, because the hood mounts here. It's actually somewhat complicated and not going to be perfect, but it gives us an idea of where everything's gonna be, and then of course we'll just have to make it accordingly to that. So now what we're gonna go do, now that we have room, we can actually get in here and work. We'll start taking this off and cutting everything out that we don't need. So there we are. Got the front suspension tore out of this thing. Actually went fairly easy. It was a little bit hard, but this is good. This gives us a pretty good idea of where things were. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is we got to cut off all these little brackets, the shock tower, all this extra crap. Of course we'll leave this body mount because we'll eventually get our cage kind of up to here. But go ahead, try and take care of as much as possible here. We are going to leave this cross member for right now. I don't know how high we're going to mount the engine in, so I want to leave that in place just for now so I can see where we're going to be. We might have to redesign it and actually bring it up a little, but for right now it's just rigidity, so until we get to that point we'll leave it. But yeah, I'll go ahead, I'll cut all this crap off, and of course we got a bunch of lines and stuff that I haven't taken off, so that's all coming off today. And yeah, we'll get that done, and then we'll slide that new axle into place. Oh, and I got the torsion bars. What was easier is I just cut them. Popped a little bit, but whatever. They're out now, so that's good. So yeah, we'll put you guys on a high view just because there's not much to really see. So between running out of oxygen for our torch and everything else that we had going on, let me just zoom out there. I thought when I came back and I cut out that cross member that I kicked the time lapse back on, but I guess not. So there you go, there's our cross member. Of course I just cut that out. Now why I didn't go get my adapter here for the acetylene bottle before, I don't know. But we were able to cut that cross member out really well. I'll just kind of show you guys here. Of course, that's the one on that side, and that's that side. I still have some cleaning up to do and whatnot, but really easy to do that. And then we also cut this one off that was really being a pain. So there we go. I got to do a little cleanup and then we'll get the axle in and we'll start working on that. So here we are. We slowly started cutting away at our axle. As you can see, we're just trying to leave that little bit that we'll get with the grinder. We don't want to actually dig into the axle tube. Really limited space on this side, so we're gonna have to just try and eat from that side. Of course, we got some other shit here that we're gonna have to cut off, but right at this point, I'm gonna leave off. I'm gonna go have some dinner and then I'll come back and get to it. Tried to do up a nice little time lapse there of the burgers that we made. Nice bison beef mixture. They were fucking delicious. But we're back here. We're gonna get back to work trying to cut this off. See what we can cut tonight. Probably not gonna get it all done, but we're gonna get it mounted kind of on the truck. Ratchet strap the axle. So of course with the steel on this side, it was really easy to cut through with a torch. Now we got into this side where it's cast. Of course cast doesn't like cutting quite as nice, but we were able to cut through. Lots of this we're going to have to do a really rough cut and then just get in with the grinder, smooth that all out. Not the best, and ideally you don't want to do that to cast, but in our case we do, because we need to. So it is what it is. It's not the best, but it's what we got. So I got that part out. We're gonna have, that's gonna be a couple hour project trying to get these out. So I'm gonna leave that tonight. I want to get this axle underneath our frame here. So I'm gonna set up, we'll roll that under right now. Look at that. Alright, so we have our Super Duty axle. It is now underneath. Of course, it's elevated. You can kind of see your tire to wheel, or tire to fender, I guess. I think this is pretty close to being centered. Now, of course, we have no way of actually tying this to the chassis. So I'm going to figure this out still. Because we want to have, we're actually going to set it down onto there. But that kind of gives you an idea of where everything's going to be. The diff is pretty much right under the frame rail, which is, I don't know if that's going to be good or bad. I did end up having to get rid of that cross member. The only reason I was keeping it there was I was hoping we were going to use it, and then we were also leaving it there for support. But when we built our bumper, of course that holds the front of the frame just as strong as that, because we built this really stout and it was nice and tight. So with that, that's all that's holding the front of the frame, but I'm good with that. But this kind of gives us where that axle is going to be. It gives us a good amount of stuff, because of course our lower forelink, it'll come off here. It'll pretty much be perfect with the frame. So when you do our outrigger with the chassis there to mount the cab, that's where that bracket will mount pretty close there anyways. And then these, it'll run out to the inside of the frame somehow. And of course drive lines, all that shit has to work as well, but for the most part it should be pretty good. Now yes, we still have to mount our engine, yada yada yada, but this kind of gives us an idea where that axle is going to sit in comparison. Now these are Super Duty axles, not the, or Super Duty tires, not the big 43s that we're going to have. So yes, geometry's off. What I want to do is actually kind of bolt our fenders up just to give us an idea, because I like seeing just that visual is always good. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on quick, and then I'll get back to you guys. So there you go. That's what the fender's on. Let's actually just take a quick measurement here. We'll go from the center here, 21.5. So that leaves us here. We'll actually roll this back. Still way too far ahead. Okay. So there, that's a little bit better, a little bit closer to where we're actually going to want it. So it moves it ahead. Not bad. Now, of course, we are going to trim out this fender. It's going to be radiused to there. So you got to think, like 21.5 puts us pretty much to the end of here. And then with that, we're going to have, what is that? A 4-inch cut on our fender is pretty much what that is. So that should be about where it's going to sit. And just to check here, we are 5 inches from the tire to the fender. And that's where we want that. So that's not bad. It's a little bit of, and of course, this isn't final. It is going to change. But there is a rough idea for you. Kind of where it is. Of course, how much poke it is on the stock tire alone. Yeah, it's not centered, but it's pretty close. So, there's a lot more challenges ahead. But, we're going to end off this video here. If you haven't yet, be sure to go below, subscribe, like this video, and leave us a comment. Anything. Today, I don't know. See what you want to see done to this truck, maybe. We'll see. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But we'll see you next time.